now tuned into the greatest.
Hello. Hey. Poa sana niambie mzee. Utaona? Sijaamua kwa pia kuna TAF. Unajua niko na club yangu pia inacheza TAF leo. So siko sure. Ulikuwa unaishia? Oh, na tungeongea na Wow, inaanza saa ngapi?
Hello everyone, welcome to the Sage Bimi podcast. I'll be your host today, Sage Bimi. On the previous episode, we're actually talking about having fun, and it's going to link up with today's episode. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that people actually fail to see, if I may say, in the sense that you should be doing something to make your life worth the while. Yeah, as much as we're focusing on getting a wife or getting a lover, you need to have like something in check at the same time, because when you're with them, you need to have something to talk about. And why don't you talk about something that happened in your life, something that occurred? Hence our topic of today, having a life. You have something to say before we begin?
Yes, what I'd like to say maybe in the line of having a life is it's very important, not just in game, just in life in general. So I think I'm also very excited about today's topic, and so I can't wait to get started, you know.
So I'll be your host today, Sage Bimi.
And I am Anonymous99.
And we're going to be talking about having a life. So, firstly, you figure that when someone gets into a relationship, or it's in the lines of it, you figure that when you're with that girlfriend or that lover, like your world revolves around her, and you just let and forget like there's other things around you. And that's something that it's good to get like together at times, but it gets kind of boring, and you need to be doing other things on the side. And at the same time, you need to, how can I say this? You know, when you depend on one person for everything, it becomes tiresome for some reason, because when that person is not there, what will happen? It will be a disaster. Because at the end of the day, there's something that might come in the way. Maybe family, because family at the time will be priority more than you. That's a guarantee. So you'll need to have something else to do. So in the next 10 minutes, we'll be talking about what you'll be needing to do to have a life. I'll start talking about, maybe you can be in the lines of school, you can be in the lines of work, but it shouldn't be completely work, completely school, because you'll be outside interacting with people. And these small interactions are the ones that push you further in life. If you're targeting a specific goal, maybe cash, working with people, that's how you can get money. Because at the moment you don't have money, the other person has money. If it's fun, you can create fun with other people. And the best way to do this is by interacting with other people. Maybe going new places, discovering places. I remember like last week, like the previous week before last week, I had gone to Ololua. I remember telling you that.
Yeah.
So going there, I climbed the Mount Tungong. I had a date. So we went to Tungong. No, sorry. We were supposed to go to drop off at Karen, then connect to Ololua. But the mat actually, like, it went past where we were supposed to alight. Then it went all the way to Tungong. And mind you, the person I was with felt frustrated when we got to Tungong. And personally, I'm the type of guy, when I get to a new place, I want to like look around first before I figure out this is where I'm supposed to be. So that anytime I get to that point, again, I'll not feel frustrated because I know how to maneuver myself around. So the person who I was with was kind of frustrated. She was agitated at the same time. And this made me feel quite of uneasy. And I was like, I wouldn't want to be with this kind of person when I'm doing my endeavors. You get? And
Why is that?
because I'm going to a place that I don't know, and I've landed in a place that I don't know. I want to like discover or look around first before deciding, this is where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And for her, she's set. If you're going to Ololua, we're going to Ololua. There's nothing in between. So most of the time, I figure that if I'm going to go somewhere, I have to know the person I'm going to be with.
Yeah.
What kind of person is he or she? Does he that person is that person an explorer? Is that person like, I'm going here, this is where I'll just go?
Yeah.
So you the way you can figure this out is by being around people. You know, this kind of person is an explorer. This kind of person is the type of person who's, if I'm going here, this is where I'm going. If I'm doing this, this is exactly what I'm doing. And you can't know this until you interact with people. You can imagine if I hadn't held my cool when she was up and those, all worried and stuff. Yeah. So if I hadn't held my cool, what kind of situation would we have been in?
Oh, completely. I completely agree. And I think you've mentioned a few things which I tend to agree with. And in what case, in what sense? I mean, you've mentioned, I think at least three things. And I'm going to tackle each one of them separately. So I'll first start with what you said about social skills, right? You talked about interaction, people, and that's included in having a life. Because for me, having a life is just the day-to-day living. What are you doing with your life that is not associated with other people? What are you doing in your life for yourself and for fun, for career, for just general life? Because having a life is just living your life the best way you can. When you said something to do with communication, it resonated with me, and this is because I believe in social skills. I believe in having or knowing a way to communicate effectively, to get your point across, to listen to others actively, to have the discernment to be able to respond accurately to somebody's conveying of their message. Also, it helps when you have a life. You kind of also develop some emotional intelligence. You know how to control your own emotions, how not to overreact or underreact, how to also be able to manage other people's emotions around you, which is very important because we are not solitary beings. We live in communities, we live in societies, we go to work with other people, we go to school with other people, we do many different crafts with other people. So it's very important to have some sort of emotional intelligence. You said something about how this lady also wasn't really like she didn't really go along with your adventurous nature, right? In trying to understand the lay of the land. And well, that's okay, and I think emotional intelligence would require would require you to maybe conform, but like then that's not you being yourself. You're not really enjoying your interaction with her because you're kind of trying to accommodate her needs, her wants, and all these things. And this is also reducing your appreciation of whatever experience you're having at the same time. So I don't necessarily agree with, if you don't go along and you look at this situation very objectively and this is not how you, or the kind of person who you'd like to do things with or hang around, then you should probably, look elsewhere, right? But sometimes the pros outweigh the cons, and so maybe she doesn't really match that quality of yours, but maybe she has her strengths which you really admire and which really complement some of your other weaknesses, or they go well with who you are in different places and different areas of life. So that's something you'd like to consider. However, when you say this, it also reminded me that having a life is very attractive in a man because I think it's also very attractive in a woman, but especially so for a man, because for a man you need to have like some sort of purpose in life. You need to have a direction, you need to have goals, you need to know exactly what you want to do and how to do it. You need to be very uh forgive the slang, but very go-getterish, right? It's like you need to know what you want and go for it, right? And this has to be beside your woman, aside from your woman. It should be in your own life. You have your own things that you're going for. And when she wants to come and hang out with you, or she wants to join you on this journey you want to have together, maybe it's a relationship or in life generally, a marriage or a very long-term relationship, then she has to join you on your journey. Right? You're not joining her on her journey. Right? Whatever you find fun, you do that and let her join you while you're doing that. So when you're inviting her to like things that you enjoy doing, for example, going to Ololua, this is maybe something that you like to do or something that you would like to explore and see if you like. When she's coming along into your world. So she does not control your world, right? You tell her exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it. If she wants to come along and tag along and on this, do all this adventure stuff, that's on her. If she doesn't want to, that's on her. Like you continue doing your own thing, right? If you're chilling in the house and you like to watch a certain football match, or over the weekend you like to watch certain sports, maybe eating a pizza or doing anything or blah blah blah, maybe it's quite unhealthy or whatever. But if it's something you like and it's something that you enjoy doing and you do it often, then when they come to chill with you on that specific day, specific time and specific place, then you shouldn't try to go out of your way to try to accommodate her and make her feel like she's having fun. Don't bother and pester her and ask her, are you liking this, or do you want some more of this? No, she's joining you on your own day, doing your own thing, so she should try and see if she enjoys whatever you do. If she doesn't, that's fine. You can arrange for a different meet on a different day, but don't ever try to find a way to please her because she's come to you and you're trying to chill. And that's actually even a rule of thumb. If you're going to do something on a date, pick something you like so that you can do it even if she decides to leave. You know, it's something I like. I'm going to do so and so. If you want to come, please tag along. And that's actually one of the ways I usually ask people out. Right? I'm going out, I'm going to do this and this, I want to go maybe eat this and this. If you want to, come along, right? And I leave it very open. So if she's interested enough, she will find a way to make herself available and she will come. But like, don't ask her like, what do you like doing? Can I do this for you? Even though I hate doing that, but because I want to really impress you and have some time with you, then let's do it together. No. Unless you're doing something that you both like, then you can ask her, what her preferences and all these things. But otherwise, I think that's just my take on it. Maybe I'm very primitive in my ways of thinking, but I think I just have my preferences and I like to stick by them.
And there's completely nothing wrong with you sticking to your preferences.
Yeah.
In the sense that if you're doing something and you're enjoying, you feel it much more simple for you to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're the one who's doing it for yourself.
Yeah, very true.
And at the end of the day, when you go back home, you'll be by yourself.
Yeah.
So you'd like to have, how should I say this? People who have you can have people who have different opinions, different likes and stuff, but having people who you have things in common with makes things much, much easier for you. To the point that you're always comfortable with whatever it is that you are doing or whatever it is that you want to do. And this is something that people fail to understand most of the time. Hence, it gets to the point that I say, do you have a life? And if you don't have a life, you'll be out there trying to explore to get, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what how should I say this? This is what people around me like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I like. So, when it comes to people, only be focusing on these specific two things that will be in accordance with what they are, because at the end of the day you work with society and you can't be completely doing whatever it is that you want. At times you have to accommodate others, but not all the time you need to accommodate others.
Yeah, true.
And here's my first question before we continue with our discussion. What do you like in your life? What do you actually like? How can you do what? How can you portray the thing that you actually want? Because at the end of the day, you need to be progressing.
Yeah, you do.
And while you're progressing, it's the things that you do that shows, I've been doing ABCD. I've progressed. Let's say personally, I started drawing, but I've not been drawing the way I want to draw in the actual sense that there's targets that I need to hit. Yes. Let's say like in a day, I do like one drawing in a day. Yes. So you find that I don't do it completely in a day, but I've been doing my best to not stick at the same position on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Hence, I ask people the question, what do you do that you actually like or want for yourself?
Yeah.
That's the major thing that you have to look at before you develop into having a life. Because I was told you need to do something that you love. Even if you're not making money from it, maybe you'll find a way to monetize it much, much later. But what do you like? After that, what are you doing to make sure you're achieving the actual goals that you set for yourself?
Yeah.
Because if you like playing FIFA,
Yeah.
you need to be going out for tournaments and stuff.
True.
Do you know where these tournaments are?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
do you interact with people who go to tournaments so that they can be, how can I say this? They can be informing you like, hey, there'll be a tournament
Yes.
in the next weekend.
Yes.
So at the
So
end
it's feed your what's it called? Feed your desires. Feed your whatever you take pleasure in. Feed that. It's like it's the same with career and most other activities. It's whatever you give attention to grows. And in my opinion, that is very important. So it's like have a life means follow a career path, follow your hobbies, develop some hobbies. What do you like? What don't you like? And then be true to them. And in a way, it's like you without knowing it, especially if you enjoy something, you end up feeding it because you keep thinking about it and you do things that are connected to it and help it to develop. And so it just happens very naturally. So it's like have a life, aside from everything else, aside from trying to please this person, trying to get new people and all these things, and generally that helps to build you wholesomely. That's my opinion about the whole thing.
The reason why I'm saying is, I have a friend of mine here. He doesn't like drinking. He despises being around people who drink. And at the end of the day, he's a really, really good gamer. I think you know him, but I won't mention him at the moment. So he started meeting up with people who go to tournaments like FIFA tournaments, if it's Apex tournaments, you get. So after getting to understand like these are the people who go to the tournaments and stuff, he was really frustrated because while we were at the tournament, my teammate, he is not really thinking about how we're going to team up and win our next two games.
Yeah.
The teammate is thinking about, I need to go get a quad.
Oh.
Yeah, instead of like focusing on like, we have a game. No,
True.
he's like, I want to I want to go get a quarter first so that I can charge myself up for the
What?
game. Yeah. So he's really frustrated because in his mind he's like, yeah, we're playing, and after this game we'll get paid.
Yeah.
Because they usually pay people, let's say 500 Kenya shillings for a game or for just showing up.
Yeah.
Whether you win or lose.
Okay.
And after, let's say you won, yeah. You get a bonus because you won.
Yeah.
So he was really frustrated, and it's like he didn't quite understand how to maneuver in such a social situation. And hence, I'm telling you, you need to be around people so that you can get to know how you can manipulate the situation to favor you.
True.
At the end of the day, you're still working with people, and you need to know how to maneuver with them, around them. I hope people are quite getting the picture, because how will you explain such a situation to another person, in the sense that you are the one who's going to the tournament, and while you're going to the tournament, you need to work with this guy who's drunk and is just thinking about, hey, I should charge myself up, then go to play the tournament. Because at the back of his head, this guy is not thinking about winning the tournament, but you, on the other hand, are thinking about
winning the tournament. True.
This could happen in the sense that you're thinking about football, yeah? You're going for a football tournament. Since you're going for the football tournament, you should know how to maneuver around it. Like, how are your teammates behaving?
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to be a leader, you have to know how you can be in a lead position where you can help people manage people to go in a situation that will help you out at the end of the day. So, what kind of life do you want? How are you living that life per se? That's the major thing that you should look at before you venture into all these other endeavors that you decide or please to be in.
Yeah. I think this applies not just to game. I think the reason why this topic for me touches very close to home is because it's very relevant, and not just when it comes to game and pick up history and how to maintain long-term relationships. It's effective and very relevant to life in general. That for me is why I really have a taking to this topic.
So those are basically two things that we talked about. The third thing that we were actually going to venture into, like the next 5 minutes before we wrap up the episode, you figure out what you want. You figure out that you should be working with people. So,
another thing is, when you have purpose, when you're driven, and I think I've mentioned this, but I'd like to just double down on it. It shows you are, forgive the term, but like you're alpha, because like you know what you want, and for men, I think that's one of the most attractive qualities. It's not just that you're endowed with resources, but you can attain those resources. And one of the ways to show that you can attain resources, and in this case, most people usually imagine money, which is okay. It's because it's one of the resources. Time is also another resource. Attention is also another resource. But one of the most exchangeable resources is money. And so when it comes to money, most of the time, people who are able to do things and influence people are people who are very object-oriented, very driven and self-motivated, self-disciplined. So if somebody sees that you have such intense passion for your own life, for your own career, for your own hobbies, and you have a certain drive that is not bent towards trying to impress other people, but doing things that you like and doing them well and wanting to do them well, then they also imagine, if you can do all this and you can have all this drive for yourself and for your own things, then you are most likely somebody I would like to couple up with. Why? Because you are probably going to be able to sustain say if you have children, right? If you reproduce, it's very crucial that you're able to provide for the children. It's very crucial that you're able to protect the children, right? That you're able to protect the wife while she's pregnant, or maybe she's unable to provide financially, but she's willing to nurture the children. Are you able then to take up that mantle? Are you able to provide for the family? And if you're able to do all these other things about having a life and everything, then it shows, or it signifies that you have certain qualities which would be able or would be suitable to the other side of life, to the other provision side of life. So I just wanted to emphasize on that because it's a very important point,
Actually, you said something in the essence of you're able to provide, yeah?
Yeah.
Either financially, emotionally, you name it, yeah?
Yeah.
As long as you're able to give that provision that you feel is required in a specific situation,
Yeah.
it means that you have some resources. If you have these resources and you can help yourself while help others, you become a productive member of the society.
Yeah.
And let me not tell a lie. If you are a productive or you are a member of society who is, how can I say this, who is reliable, people naturally, they are pulled towards that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hence, if you're in that aspect, if you're a provider or a self-sustaining person,
Yeah.
and the way you approach that lady, madam, she will see it from how you walk, from how you talk. It will build up your character.
It does. It does.
And it makes things much, much easier for you to maneuver through. Let's take an example. If this guy, let's call him John, yeah? If John is a person who works well with other people, has a group of people who naturally gravitate towards him.
Yeah.
This woman will see that when I'm around John, he has the boys who can take care of me and others. And this naturally triggers inside the head that, this one, we can do something together. We can move ahead together.
Yes.
This guy is adventurous.
Yeah.
He can go on the adventures and it will make things much easier for me, for I will not need to go on that adventure.
True.
And make things in the sense that it will make things, when I'm doing them with him or when I'm doing it with other people, it will make things move much swiftly.
Yeah, true.
Hence, I completely insist on you should be getting yourself out there. Like this guy, I found him on YouTube. He drew a graph. Then he was like the level of fucking around and the level of finding out. So if you fuck around so much, you'll find out so much.
Yeah, true.
So you should be out there fucking around and finding out.
Yeah.
So, and as much as you're introverted, yeah, you if you have your resources, you won't need to go out there because your resources will be around you. But before you get the resources, you need to be out there. So being an introvert can't be used as an excuse of not finding out anything.
Yeah.
It can't be used. It can't be used as one. Because at the end of the day, you said, life, we're working with others, not just ourselves. Hence, I insist again, you need to be out there. You need to have that life. If you're, how can I say this? If you're not the guy who watches football, and you're the basketball type or you're the golf type, get yourself in such kinds of groups.
Yeah.
If you are the anime guy, get yourself in people who go to AnimeCon for whichever city you're in. Because I believe like every city has that weird kind of people in society.
True.
Yeah.
But, and it's very important that people also understand that social capital is just as good as financial capital. How do I put this? Sometimes having a lot of having money cannot get you out of certain situations. However, if you knew the right people in the right situations at certain times, it can be exchangeable for having millions. If you just know the right people who can get you into certain doors, into certain opportunities, or out of certain situations which are very undesirable, then it's as good as having money sometimes, Sometimes having social capital, which you just said, it's like knowing the right people, going into these groups where you know people from certain societies, certain communities who can help you to improve your knowledge of that side, or even to engage or interact with certain situations, so that you can also broaden your experiences when it comes to, as you said before, something like Comic-Con or anime, or so it's very important that you broaden your social networks, because networking is just as important as working on your, let's say, as working on your academics, or working on your business. Networking can, in fact, it's almost an enabler of some of these other things. So it can enable you in your career to progress much faster, much better, much more than compared to somebody who probably has no bearing of where to start when it comes to socializing with people. So talking to people, getting to know these societies, as you said, it's very important, because it broadens your what is it your network, or it also broadens your ability, it broadens your span of influence, sort of thing.
And the other thing that I wanted us to talk about before we come to a close on this, the reason why I kept on insisting you need to get yourself out there is because you need to know yourself first.
Yeah.
You should know yourself, how you actually interact with people, and how you want to interact with people. There's the difference between the two. And most of the time, people don't really realize. I met this beautiful girl. She told me that she's trying to see how she can have a work life and her life on the side. Personally, I don't believe that's quite possible, because the people you meet there, you can meet them outside in your life that is not your work life. At the same time, the way you interact with people at work can be fairly the same, and makes it much easier for you to interact with people outside that space of work. Because once you get to know yourself, you'll know your limitations, and maybe if you want to change, you'll work on your limitations. This makes things so much easier for anyone out there. And people, I don't know if people quite understand this, but if you get yourself out there, get to understand A, B, C, D, making things easier for yourself, this actually improves on everything. And it actually, you get to know, this is the self-image that I have of myself. Because there's what you think you are and what you actually are. There's a big difference between what you do and what you want to do. And the only way you can get through it is by aligning two things or three things together with each other, you get. And hence, I kept on insisting that you should work on the self-image, your self-image. How do you see yourself to be, and how do people see you to be? And that's really, really important. That's very, very important, and I doubt people will actually see it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Hence, first you have to know. Because there's this story that I read recently. There's this guy who went to a surgeon. He was like, I want my fat short hands to be done a surgery and be made longer, so that I'm not clumsy. So looking back at his life when he was small, let's say he used to like break stuff. After breaking something, he was condemned for that activity. Then he got older and older. Then he married a wife. After marrying the wife, he tried fixing something inside the house, and he fumbled with it. So he went to this doctor, and the doctor was like, this thing is what this guy is trying to tell me. There's nothing like that. So the doctor was like, before we get into the surgery and everything, this is a list of things that I want you to do first before we actually begin. Because he went to the doctor, he was like, my hands are clumsy because my fingers are short and fat and everything. So the doctor said, first take this list. It's a list of things to do. Go buy these tools, then start working on a small project. Don't let people know which project you're working on. Just do it by yourself. If you fail, good, nobody will have seen you. You'd be doing it by yourself. So after he did this, he was supposed to contact the doctor after, let's say, 2 weeks. He didn't contact the doctor after 2 weeks. So he was like, the doctor was like, how comes he never contacted me? So after contacting the doctor, what happened was after, let's say, a month later, this guy contacts the doctor. After contacting the doctor was like, we're supposed to work on how we could do this surgery to you. The guy started laughing and he's like, doctor, I understand what you are actually telling me because of ABCD. I've been doing this and I realized it was just a belief that I had from when I was still a child that I carried to my adulthood. So if you feel like you're not really good at ABCD, just start doing that. Start communicating. Start getting yourself out there. Start doing 1, 2, 3 that you feel is in line with whatever it is that you want. After you've done that, then add something to it. Then some. At the moment, you don't just stop it. You don't just give up and say, I can't do this.
True.
So that's basically the focus of this episode. We actually give you a 1, 2, 3 step on what you should do and how you should tackle it. Yeah. And as much as it might seem entertaining to 1 or 2 people, as I come to the conclusion, I'll say this: don't just take this podcast as a entertainment.
True.
This is a self-help. This is an educational podcast. What have you taken at the end of this episode? What are you going to do for yourself and for others at the end of the episode? This is not an entertainment podcast. This is a what should I do? What am I doing podcast. Do you have any closing remarks for people?
No, for at the moment, I'd like to support what you just said. It's not really about entertainment. It's not really about listening and walking away with nothing. It's not like a motivational speaking session. It's something we're looking at like the audience applying some of these things to their life and going out and seeing some of these things apply to the situations that they're in. So I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, because let me not just start telling about this guy who's looking for a mate to. Hey, you can go out, you can start talking to this one, you can get rejected, you can get this or that. First, you need to build up something, because when you get rejected, I wouldn't expect anyone here to start insulting that girl because of getting rejected by a girl. Because while I was coming here, I saw this fine mama. She was in a maroon dress. I said hi. She was like, it's like she was second guessing herself. Then she decided to keep quiet, because you could see by the way she was walking. She paused first, then she looked, then she was like, then she continued walking. So, what would benefit me if I started insulting her?
Yeah, true.
Nothing. So there's actually no need to put yourself or start insulting others, spoiling other people's days because you didn't understand. Maybe she was in a hurry.
True.
Maybe she had other thoughts and she was like, no, I can't do this right now. Maybe she has other struggles at home that's in her head, and you take that thing personally. So before that, you need to build a self, a reliable self that you are completely comfortable, because we'll be giving you guys a step by step on how to approach the girl you see who's you think is amazing. Then you get to find out that she's just as human and as you and me. As much as a time will come when you see, people will be looking at you like a superhuman, because they're like, okay, this girl is chasing after you. Oh, how comes?
How do you do it?
Yeah, because
It's not easy.
most of the guys out there, like a huge number are virgin and they don't want to be virgin. They want to be interacting with girls. They want to have some want to have a harem around them. A harem is like a large group of girls around.
Yeah.
For the people who don't quite understand. So you need to have this reliable self where you're completely okay, completely comfortable in different social situations, and you have to put yourself in those awkward situations so that you know how to maneuver around.
Yeah.
And for the next episode, I want to surprise people, because we're basically still measuring on inner game. And the inner game is more on the self. We're actually building that self that is reliable to all of us. A self that we completely feel comfortable to work with and work with others. And that's all for today, folks. Welcome to the Man Cave.